Hello, hello, hello. We're glad to be back here on a Friday. Friday to start our Q&A again. If you guys are new coming back in here, we're going to be doing a Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So super glad to be able to be here. Dropping the link in the chat. So if you get a hold of this link and you didn't have a chance to be able to ask a question or to be able to share some of your story last time we were on, feel free to click on that StreamYard link. It'll bring you back in the back house, back studio here. And I can actually bring you live, can interact, share your story, all that kind of stuff. So it is happening every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. A couple quick things. Just want to be able to announce real quick. We do have September 24th coming up, Narcissistic Abuse Workshop. Myself, Lee Hammock, we've got a 4-hour event going on there. We've got October 15th. They're starting to you're probably starting to see stuff more on social media because more of the creators that are coming to it are starting to advertise it more. But narcavengers.com, it's even got information on there for the Toronto meeting coming up here as well. So also we do have, I don't have it pulled up, but we do actually have the, hello, good to be on it. We do actually have the journal that got released. So if you're on here, you probably saw it already on social media or you saw it in your email because we sent out a bunch of emails the other day for people that had signed up for stuff previously or downloaded different PDFs or worked with me one-on-one or got the app. So a bunch of different things going on. But feel free to be able to click the link that's actually in the chat. Struggling for words here. We're catching up on life today. So Friday is going to be a little of a catch up today. But if you haven't had a chance to be able to see it, so here it is right here. So I was really excited about it. The team did a really good job. Had a really great designer on it. But from fantasy to reality, there we are in the Mac too. But it's a journal. It's got over 110. No, not 110. It's got over 100. It's like 110 pages long. But it's got over 100 questions in here. Okay, so let's see. What is the hardest thing to accept about the relationship? How can acknowledging this help you? Write a note to your future self. Place it somewhere safe and set a reminder to open it 3 months later. How has your relationship helped prepare you for or reveal things about future relationships? When you look at the past, does it seem all good until it wasn't? Often memories can get skewed over time of what a person did or was to you. What do two things can remind yourself of to help you heal? I can't even read my own writing. It's typed. What helped you process the pain of past relationships before this one, and what ways did it help? What feels different about this heartbreak versus others? So a bunch of different questions in there. Okay, but a bunch of different questions try to be able to help you heal, grow, and change, and like question the own reality that you're thinking in the moment, because a lot of times we have to go back and we have to get true to ourselves of like what actually happened. A lot of times we want to, put it under a different idea of like, this didn't actually happen this way. Like this is something else, this good moment was there more than what it actually was. A lot of times we think, hey, there's actually like good moments that happen in the relationship when there's not. It's a different whole aspect like going on the relationship because that's part of the mask that they put up. Okay. Let's see. Boyfriend is out of the country. He's been away 8 weeks. He says he's so stressed with family affairs that he's not in the mindset to tell me that he misses me. Poof. No, that's just the aspect that he doesn't care and he doesn't miss you. Like, it's not that. He started giving me the silent treatment because I'm questioning his behavior. Hasn't texted in weeks. So definitely sounds narcissistic. I would definitely be careful because like silent treatment is just a narcissist way of making you come back to them. Making you apologize, of teaching you what actually is acceptable and what's not actually acceptable. We talk about like grooming techniques. A lot of times narcissists will use grooming techniques to try to get you to do what they want you to do. A lot of times they'll come into your life and they'll show you like, hey, this ex did this. So it shows you in your mind, okay, don't do that. If I do that, then I'm going to get in trouble. If I do that, then I'm going to get left. If I do that, whatever it might be, they'll go ahead and they'll start grooming you to get to the place that you fall in line with their wishes and desires. Okay. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Love the journal. It's helping my healing process. I recommend everyone. Awesome. She's got this. So, well, we just released it the other day. So super excited. Awesome. So feel free. We're going to be clicking on the link here. So go ahead and click on the link. It's on either Facebook or on YouTube. You can click the link and you can come back and we'll bring you on screen. You can go live with me to be able to ask questions, share some of your story. This is what we do on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Is where you can go live with me, ask questions, and share. She says, sounds like mine right now. I'm enjoying the silent treatment right now, and I no longer care anymore. That's good. I mean, sometimes the silent treatment, like once you become aware, the silent treatment is like, okay, now let me focus on the stuff that I can have the capacity to focus on. Let me focus on myself. Let me focus on projects I need to get done. Let me focus on all different types of things that before, like that person is going to take away like all the time. Why do they play these kind of games with us? I'm so sick of it. So the narcissist, when they play the silent treatment game with you, what they think they're doing is they think they're punishing you. And the majority of the time they would be until you actually start becoming aware. But the idea is like, let me go ahead and punish you. Let me teach you like what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to live, how you're supposed to conform to me as the narcissist. Okay. So that's a lot of times what they're looking at and how they're trying to manipulate. Okay. Great questions. Feel free to drop any questions in the chat if you guys don't want to come live, but otherwise you can actually click on the StreamYard link in one of the chats and be able to go live with me. Typically we have, I don't know, normally it takes people like a couple minutes to like warm up, but typically we have like 3 to 4 people that go live during the period of time to be able to ask questions and share what's going on. How do I get over the fear to start journaling? I'm afraid to relive the trauma. I think the thing I would ask you is like right now, as you're thinking about the relationship, do you relive it now? Like, do you reminisce now? Does it pop up randomly? Do you run in different triggers that pop up and then it sidelines you? It like sets you back of like, oh crap, like I forgot about this, or like, why am I still thinking about this person? Why am I still remembering them? And if that's the case, then that means you need to start journaling, because the fact that it'll pop up or you'll ruminate or you'll wonder, or you might go and get ready to unblock that person and go back to them, anything like that, all those type of things might happen because you haven't actually processed it. Okay. Kelly, I can see you in the back studio, but it says the devices aren't connected, so I can't bring you live. Oh, there we go. It looks like I might have it.
Hi. So
Hey there.
I was wondering, like, basically my husband, he's a porn addict, and I was wondering, like, I see a lot of narcissistic tendencies too.
Mm-hmm.
Can he get rid of the addiction without addressing the narcissistic tendencies and the trauma that's underneath that?
So a lot of times they go hand in hand. I think it's helpful to try to work on getting rid of that because it's unhealthy for relationships anyways. The biggest thing that's going to be a struggle and going to be hard is the fact that he's going to have to be honest with what he's dealing with, and he's going to have to release his control over stuff if he wants to actually get better.
Okay, yeah, that's part of the problem, because I feel like now we're at the point where he's honest with me about like watching videos, but then he'll just kind of tell me, and like 2 minutes later he's acting like he didn't just tell me that. Like I'm supposed to be perfectly fine with it, even though it's been like a point of contention in our relationship for the last 5 years.
So like when he tells you that he's like been watching and stuff, how does he have access to it right now?
Now on his phone and the computer at home. But I feel like he's not really taking any kind of real steps. Like he says he's like trying not to watch stuff, but he's not, and he's not in individual therapy. He's not reading any books. He's not researching anything, like taking any initiative of his own.
Right. So that's just the fact that he doesn't care. Because if he did, he'd actually work on making changes to the reality that he's living in right now. So if he's not in any type of therapy, if he's not limiting his device usage and what he can actually do on his devices, if he's not switching to a dumb phone, like if he's not giving you control of like his devices and stuff like that, like there's a million different things. And there's tons of recovery programs and apps and like everything to like help people not go back to that addiction. If he's not even trying, like there's not really any hope there, because there has to be an effort. Just saying that he's trying is just bullshit.
Yeah, I thought so too. I've called him out on that also. So Ben, just like in your opinion, what do you think a good timeline would be? Because I did tell him that like if I don't see any progress, I want to separate. Yeah, I mean, I know that separation might not be like he still might be the same, of course, but I feel like I should move rather than being stuck in this situation forever.
Yeah. Yeah, because the separation is for you. The separation is so that you have space and the capacity to start healing and growing. Because a lot of times you can't do that when you're in a toxic relationship and around those environments. So I think a big aspect is like you want to be able to, you know, like, and you ask questions maybe of like, okay, how are you actually working on this? How are you actually going to change it? But not like give like leading stuff of like, you have to do this, you have to do this. Because a lot of times they'll go ahead and check off the boxes that you want them to check and then keep moving forward. And so I actually do have a couple of videos out that I think would be helpful. The one of them is, I believe, how to set boundaries with a narcissist. And with that, it kind of dives into the aspect of setting up 6 boundary/goals and only communicating 2 of them. And the rest of them have to be time sensitive. So they have to have a time for it. And they also have to be easily quantifiable. Yes, no, he did this, he didn't do this. And like, it needs to be like something that you have in your mind or you write out where he can't see it. That way, you know, hey, like, here's like the 2 things I'll give him of like, hey, this is what I want you to do. And then if he doesn't continue that growth moving forward, then you automatically have those like checks and balances set up to be like, okay, I'm out. Like, it's literally like your backup parachute, or like the line of like, this is the boundary that I'm going. Like, if he doesn't do this by this date, or like if he hasn't, you know, changed these and these habits by this time, then there's no point in staying there.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate your input.
Absolutely. I mean, ultimately, if there's not honesty and if there's not a willingness to change, like he's actively like seeking out how to be able to do that. Because I mean, there's not just like apps to be able to block stuff. There's also, you know, there's also people that get rid of their smartphones. There's people that go on business trips and, you know, they remove like the access to the TV while they're in there. Like there's tons of stuff that people have done to break free from pornography addiction. And it comes down to what he's actually doing in the moment to actually make sure that there is a barrier so that he has the capacity to heal like the stuff that's actually going on inside. But if it's always accessible to him, I mean, that's like an alcoholic that wants to get clean by sitting at the bar sniffing the drinks. Like, it's not going to happen, you know, because there's not going to be that fortitude inside him that has a chance to be able to build up because he's still involving himself in it on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
But yeah, check out that video because it goes more in depth than what I have here, but it's setting 6 boundary/goals that are time sensitive and quantifiable, communicating 2 and never ever communicating the other 4. And if they don't continue to move forward, if they don't continue that growth process, then you know even more so like, hey, I need to get out of here for sure. Which I would lean that direction anyways with what you've communicated to me.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll definitely check it out.
Thanks so much for jumping on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, so if you guys are new here, that's how you do it. Just click on the link that we drop in the chat, and it'll actually bring you back into the studio. You can jump on, you can ask questions, you can share a little bit about your story. That's what we do on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 p.m. So I've got someone else back here in the studio. Let me pull you up here. Daniela, how are you doing today? Can you hear me? I cannot hear you. It says it's unmuted on that side, but I cannot hear anything. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right. I don't know. We'll figure out what's going on there here in a minute. I'm not sure what's going on. But anyways, like that's how it works, except it works. But that's how it works, of where you can actually jump on, be able to share your story, interact, and be able to help people. Because some of the biggest stuff is like establishing the community, right? I mean, we got people in the chat like asking how each other's doing because like they know, you know, what's going on. They know like the people that are struggling and they're trying to like work through this on like a day-to-day basis. You know, it's a huge aspect. Okay. But that healing is helpful, being able to check in and be able to say, hey, like, here's other people that make me feel not crazy because they've actually been through the same stuff. All right, Daniela, let me see if I can pull you back on here.
I'm so sorry. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, great. How are you?
Doing well. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you for taking me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I have a few questions.
Okay, go for it.
So I've been on and off, and it's become a pattern that I see every 5 months. It's become a cycle.
Okay.
And I'm very aware now because of your videos, and I believe he is 2 traits. He is the covert, and it starts with an M. The other type of narcissist.
Malignant?
Yes.
Okay.
So just 3 weeks ago, he ghosted me again, but went off on me on the phone because he wasn't really happy with an opinion that I brought up on the phone. And he pretty much just said, you know, F this, F that, and forget that I exist, and lose my number.
Mm-hmm.
And he hung up on my face. Now, he's been in my life for 2 years with me, my 6-year-old, and he's had a big impact on both of us. And he's done a lot of the whole monkey stuff on me, the hoovering.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the shame, the blame game, all of that. And I just took it because I thought I could be his rescuer and his helper. He has a childhood of history of physical abuse, and a lot of insecurities is built up in him.
Okay.
So now I don't know what to do, because actually I do know what to do, but I guess I need confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
My father is living under his roof and renting there for about a year.
Okay.
And he took on my dad, I guess, because he was trying to show empathy and that he cares about me and my family. And my dad
ties him to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so my dad is still there. And my dad is telling me to hold off and not block him yet, because my dad is, you know, concerned that he may have the switch on him and the double personality may come, and then not sign the renewal of the lease. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But a part of me is I want to already block him, because my son has been emotionally affected, doesn't understand this whole ghosting, fusing thing again, thinking that he's going to come back. And it's been enough. And so a part of me doesn't want to block him, because I want him to see that I'm happy, I'm okay, even though I'm not technically that happy. But I don't know if I should wait until my dad receives a renewal of the lease and then block, or I should already just move forward with this so I can heal. And then I know maybe if I do that, he may show up at my house, and then I'm stronger to say no.
Your dad's living with him?
Yes, my dad is living with him.
Like in the same house together?
Yes.
Okay, so the reality is, whether you block him or not, or whether he signs the release or not, there'd probably be an aspect that he is going to, you know, act a certain way towards your dad no matter what. So like you could block and it would be bad, and you could like leave him unblocked, sign the lease, and then you block after that, and then it's still going to be bad. Like the big thing is, like, your dad has to understand like how he's treating you is going to end up a lot of times being the same exact way that he's going to treat him. It's just a matter of time. And so with that, I think the biggest aspect is, like, you know, you don't have to worry about like your dad, as far as like you're not responsible for him, but you are responsible for your kid. And so like that's a big aspect of like, hey, it's in my kid's better interest of like, I need to go no contact because of what it's actually doing to him, and that's what's going to hurt him more long term.
Yeah, I see. You know, I guess I needed to hear it from you. I needed a confirmation, and I was worrying too much about, you know, my dad and trying to please him, but I'm not going to hold it off anymore, because I noticed that I'm leaving that door open, and he's never changed his profile picture on any of the social media the last 2 years I've been with him, and he just changed it to under construction. I don't know what that means, but I know he's trying to do that to pull attention at me. I'm not sure why he changed everything to under construction.
Like the idea of like rebuilding himself in one sense.
Yeah, I guess so, but it's very
Some of it
immature.
could be a trigger for you. Some of it could just a lot of it just comes back to being like a trigger for you, or like something to make you wonder, reach out, interact, anything like that.
Okay.
But it's all just a game, and so like that's why I would say like control the things that you can control, which is going to be like your interactions, you know, with your kids, and keeping that person away from them. You can't control, you know, what's going to happen on the other side, you know, because like he could not sign the lease and, you know, your dad not have a place to stay, or he could sign the lease and then kick him out after you block. I mean, there's no way to be able to know for sure on that aspect.
Okay, one last thing I want to share with you. I received an email, and I knew it was him. Okay, because his twin sister used to call him this name, and he doesn't know that I knew about it. So I got an email last week about trying to get into my Google Chrome to nest into my home.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely ignored the email. Of course, I didn't accept the invitation.
Right.
So my question to you is, should I remove that Google Chrome stick behind my TV, or just leave it alone and use it and just don't
Is it
keep
still
going
linked
on?
to him? Does he have access to it or anything?
I think the only way he would have access to it was if I accepted that invitation, right?
Not positive. I don't know enough about Google Chrome to know. Like, I don't know if that Chrome stick has like its own account that he has access to, or if it's if that invitation, is the only way, or if he already had access to some other aspects of it. Because you said that was for the Nest, right?
Yes. So that Google Chrome stick is behind my TV right now for the last 2 years. And I used it over the weekend with my son for the first time by myself, because we were always using it together through his phone. But then I was able to learn how to link it to my phone, and I used it to watch a movie with my son. And sure enough, the next day I got an email from him, and I knew it was him. And I thought that was absurd. And I said, wow, okay, he's trying to, the way he discarded me on the phone, and now he's trying to get through a nesting with the stick. I think that's
right. Yeah, I mean, I would probably at that rate. I don't know a ton about the Google stick to know for sure, but I mean, as far as I know, they're not super expensive. I would probably get rid of it and get a new one, and then also make sure like any accounts that you have anywhere that you go through and like change the passwords and stuff like that, so that he doesn't get access remotely to the Nest or like anything like that. Because a lot of times they'll try to do that, no matter what. I mean, we're talking like Netflix, Hulu, like Disney Plus, like anything like that they ever have access to. A lot of times they'll still try to interact, Venmo, PayPal, Spotify, like you name it.
And he's an IT guy, so he's very technical. Of course, he's very technical. So
yeah, I would say be safe. I would rather you be safe than sorry.
All right, I know there's a few people trying to probably go on. Just want to let you know real quick. I was in a relationship before for 18 years, and I didn't know about narcissism before, and that was my ex-husband.
Okay.
And I want to thank you so much for what you're doing. You're a blessing. Continue to do and heal, and share your growth. And I didn't know I was going to get involved with another narcissistic. I guess I didn't, give myself enough time to heal. And my son and I got involved with him because his twin sister was my best friend, and she died of cancer. And I guess I got involved with him because of this. You know what I mean? He literally sacrificed himself for his sister before she passed away. And I thought he was a very good person, which he may be, but this is very toxic for me and my son, and it hurts a lot. So I will follow your advice, and I will block now.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that's a wise plan. I think that's something. Just make sure when you block that you're being careful with whatever around you. Sometimes depending on what you've already seen in the relationship, just make sure that whenever you do it that you're safe.
Okay, I sure will. All right, appreciate you.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Looks like I've got Kristen.
Hi, how are you today, Ben?
Doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Kind of at work, but I just want to actually meet you. I mean, I chat with you online a little bit, well, your comments anyway. So
yeah, absolutely. It's good to meet you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I just want to tell the survivors out there it's possible to beat a narcissist. I have.
Yeah.
He was. I was kind of in between relationships. I was leaving my ex-husband and I was moving on to my life. Getting a divorce, and then that's when I met my narcissist, and he lied to me and said he wanted to marry me and he wanted to have kids and all this other stuff. And I didn't realize what was going on because I was kind of in a transition point in my life and at my lowest point.
Right.
And in the meanwhile, he was seeing another lady. She was 58 years old. She was the main supply, as they call them.
Okay.
And basically said they were done and she was moving out. But in the meanwhile, he kept tabs with her behind my back and he was cheating on me with her.
Okay.
So I found this out because I could tell that, he'd be hot, cold with me. He'd be missing for hours, days. I
Mhm.
wouldn't see him. He'd lie to me. He would no show. Like, I've had to go through the police. I've had to get my
Mhm.
locks changed at my house because of this guy, everything.
Right.
So, later on, I found out who she was.
Okay.
And I got in touch with her and I got the rundown, about who he really is. And he
Mhm.
basically latched onto her, and he was, she was paying for his entire foundation. He's like what they call a sociopath
Mhm.
because he seems to have the characteristics of both a narcissist and a sociopath.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you guys, you can do it. I turned the tables on him. I found out who he was. I got in touch with her. He got really mad at me, of course, he was screaming at me and blaming me for it. And I was like, whoa, wait,
Mhm.
you went online, buddy, to cheat.
Mhm.
And
Right.
you bring innocent women into your relationship all the time. And then when they go out and tell the truth to the other woman that is your main supply, and then you get pissed off and upset, and that's not right.
Mhm.
You need to take, action or be held accountable for what you're doing.
Right.
And every time I always checked his behavior. You gotta keep checking them. He would
Yeah.
always do what, the other lady was saying, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And I recognized the pattern, and I started looking up narcissism. That's when I started to figure out what was going on here.
Mhm.
So, he's a bully. I look at him as a bully, guys. They are. You just hit them at their weakest point. I made comments on his page, like, on his business page. I took a shot there, let him know I'm not weak.
Right.
I'm going to come for you. And I
Mhm.
did. So in January, I told the main supply what was going on. He promised to marry me again.
Okay.
And he came to the house in December. I should never broke no contact, which I hate myself for it, which it does happen, guys. Trust
Mhm.
me. I did it 6 or 7 times. It's really hard to break free because of the addiction.
Mhm.
So, sorry, I'm a little nervous.
It's okay. No, I mean, it does happen. It's just helpful to know that it's not the end. A lot of times, I was talking to somebody the other day, a lot of times it feels like you like restart everything all over again, but it's more
Yeah.
of like a bump in the road that you got to
Mhm.
recalibrate to get back on and try to make sure that no contact stays strong.
Yeah. So I'm on no contact right now, 37 days, but my
Okay.
big goal right now is 6 months.
Okay.
To stay away from that fool.
Yeah.
And she's
No,
crazy too.
Absolutely. And I think that's huge. I think you're on the right track with that. That's awesome.
So I've been trying to help others. I have my story. I don't know. I typed it up. I don't know if I could send it to you. Maybe you could read it. And I want to help others out there. I mean, I went through 20 years of abuse growing up.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I broke free from my parents who were both alcoholics. And I
Hmm.
packed up my shit and got out.
Okay.
I wasn't going to take that anymore.
Right.
So if I can do it, everyone else on here can do it. Trust me.
No, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That's really awesome.
Sorry, I'm just fast.
No,
There's so
that's
much
great.
I want to say, but I know other people need to get on. So
No, that's great. Thank you so much for helping. I mean, it's huge to be able to have someone to be able to share. Be able to share it and explain like that there's hope on the other side. Because when you're in it, it doesn't feel like there is any hope, and it feels like you're just stuck no matter what.
Exactly.
So no, I think that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that.
Everyone, there's hope. Don't give up. Keep fighting. They're just humans. They're not gods. Remember that. They're just people, just like us.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks so
All right.
much.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate it. Absolutely. Awesome. No, yeah. I mean, that's part of what it is being able to help like connect you to people that understand the same stuff that you've been going through, right? That understand the same stuff that's been happening that makes you feel crazy. This is one of the reasons why we even like develop like the NARC app and why we're trying to work on some more updates and things coming to it, because the idea of the NARC app is to be able to help have a community of like-minded people to actually be able to help you heal, grow, and change. And that's like the huge aspect with it is like, if you don't have that community, you end up getting isolated, because that's the goal. So a narcissist wants to isolate you from everybody else. And the more you're able to engage with other people to know, hey, you're not alone, you're not crazy, you're able to start engaging with that heal, growth, and change on a day-to-day basis, which is really cool. Excited about that. All right, looks like I've got Ian here in the back studio. Let me go ahead and bring you live here. Really cool. Hello, can you hear me? Really cool. Excited about that. All right, looks like I've got Ann here in the back. Sounds like you might be listening to.
Hi, I can hear you, but there's this echo going on.
Pretty bad, yeah. Are you listening to it on another window?
I can hear you, but there's this echo going on.
It sounds like you have it open in another window someplace.
No, it's just on my computer.
Right, are you on your phone right now?
No, I'm on my computer.
Are you watching it? It'd be if you clicked on the link and the YouTube's still going in the background.
No, I'm on my computer.
Are you watching it? It'd be if you clicked on the link and the YouTube's still going in the background.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah. I just wanted to share a bit of my story.
Yeah.
First of all, I wanted to thank you, Ben, for all the information that you've put online. I was married for almost 35 years, and my husband just out of the blue took up with someone and discarded me. So it took me so by surprise. I was looking all over the place to try to understand, why would he do this? Where was he coming from? Who was this guy? So, and I didn't really find your channel until just maybe a month or two ago. But anyway, so I'm 5 years past the discard, and I've been no contact that entire time.
Okay.
When he first left, the big void that I felt whenever I went anywhere, I thought that was because we were so close and we had such a great marriage, but now I realize that it was a trauma bond, and that he had just really sucked me dry.
Right.
There really wasn't anything left of myself. And then back in October, he emailed me, and he made it sound like he was ready to kind of give me closure. Mm-hmm. And I almost responded to it. I had a whole email drafted, and a couple wise people in my life said, no, you better not. So I started doing research, and that's where I found these channels about narcissism, and I came to realize that was a Hoover. And so I'm really glad I did not respond to it.
Yeah.
And really the fact that I learned two things that were really hard to learn: that he really didn't love me all that time, mm-hmm. and that everything that he did was on purpose, because he was manipulating me that entire time. Those things were very hard for me to realize, but in a way it gave me the closure that I needed, because it just helped me completely shut that door. Okay. So I wanted to encourage other people. I listened to Wednesday's recording, and I could just hear the pain and the heartbreak. And there are many other people that have gone through that same struggle and that same pain, and wanting them back in your life, but you realize eventually that it's not a healthy person. Right. So just keep on keeping on and keep that blocking going. And I wanted to give a little tip about blocking, something that I didn't realize. Mm-hmm. At least with Verizon, this is how it works. I had him blocked from my phone, and I wouldn't get texts, but when he would call, it would go to a separate folder called blocked. Okay. And I didn't realize that until I scrolled down in my voicemail and I saw this blocked folder. And fortunately, it was a message he left me like 9 months prior. So I just deleted it. Right. And I encourage anybody that if you discover this, don't listen. Don't listen to those messages. Just go in and delete it. And then what I have to do is I have to go into Verizon every 3 months and block his number. Okay. So then his number would never even come to my phone. And if I want to block it permanently, I have to pay for an extra like $3 service or something to block it permanently. But anyway, I just wanted to encourage people that
you have value. That person that sucked everything out of you made you feel like they were the reason you have value, but you have value because you're God's creation. And I just want to encourage you to just believe that God is with you and He will help you through this. I'm living testimony of that.
Right.
I'm still 5 years out, still trying to figure it all out, but thanks to these resources and thanks to Ben's honesty and helping us understand these people, we can get healing. So
Yeah.
thanks,
That's
Ben.
awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really do appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
But yeah, there's a lot of times where the blocking system, especially if you're on like an Android phone, like you still get a lot of stuff. You just don't get the notifications. So definitely look to see. Sometimes depending on what carrier you use, you can either go in and get it blocked, or some carriers do have their own like blocking app as well. I don't remember all the ones off the top of my head. I know like Verizon, I think Sprint, AT&T, and I think T-Mobile maybe have like their own like app, like a separate app that you can get. And there's different levels, I think, on it. I'm not sure, but there's a separate app that you can get. There's also an app out there called RoboKiller. I think you do have to pay for that one, but it is really effective. But then Kristen dropped in here as well, like change your number. Like that's a huge part that a lot of people end up doing as well. A lot of times they end up just going through and just changing their number and making sure that, hey, you got a smartphone, so you can end up like sending text to like anybody out there that needs your number and be like, hey, don't give this away, but a big aspect is change your number if you need to. Okay. So that one's huge. All right. Here we go. One more person before we wrap up here. Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
Oh, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. I'm coming in and patching in, first of all, to tell you, I am just in heaven with the tranquility that you render in this type of complexity of a dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the same business. I'm on one side, you're on another.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm in ministry, and you know that too about me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was mortified when I told you the story in the beginning, and your prayers and your mother's prayers, it brought me to the light, because I'm inquisitive and I do analyze people before I jump in a river. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying this, that it's not easy. It does take great strength. It takes great faith. I was talking to a clergyman, and he told me that faith stagnates up and down. But when you discard and turn the tables on a narc, and you made up in your mind that this is no longer for you, it doesn't digest with your emotions. It doesn't digest in the heart. It doesn't digest in the soul.
Mm-hmm.
I made the concerted effort to say, and I think only one thing now. I do feel I'm a narc survivor and a narc avenger, because this happened to me being in ministry. In ministry, we don't usually turn people down,
Right.
but I didn't see the signs coming. Okay.
Right.
So I wake up every day. I thank God. And I say one thing: if I reverted back, what would it be?
Mm-hmm.
I know it's going to be the same dismal thing.
Right.
So therefore, I don't put myself in the scenario. I understand people have different situations of trying to get out, but the reliancy or self-reliancy on oneself is paramount in this case. Mm-hmm. We're dealing with someone that has dark issues, and sometimes there are narcs out there that don't even know they're narcs. They just are this way, or they're very toxic. You kind of suspect something's wrong. But if it had not been for finding you and Lee, I found my way. I was lucky. It was short term, but I was lucky. But I keep reminding myself every day, I don't wonder how the person is doing or anything. I wonder what I have to do now. Right. And I go forward with that. And anytime I do revert back in thought from the mind, I just tell myself no, because I know I'm going to get put down, berated, or any other little thing that's negative to take away from the fact that I'm working to shine my better self. So why should I put myself in the surroundings of someone that's trying to tear down when I am still trying to get through to when I make my transition, which is judgment, because that's what counts. What is the judgment? We all have the value. We all have a story to tell. The saddest thing about narcs, and I'm saying there's some really blown out people here. The saddest thing about this, Ben, is that they don't live with this type of expression. It's just like you said, it's stone cold ruthless. Right. So they don't have a thought afterwards. They don't have a thought when you communicate. And when you do communicate, it's about getting in your business, what you have, this and that and the other. They don't tell theirs, but it's all about getting in yours to see if they can lure and bait again. I'm thankful for you all's prayers. I'd like to ask you for continued prayers because I'm 67 and I have 10 illnesses on me. And I still knock the narc. Grand slam. I love baseball, Ben.
Right.
Still knocking. Yeah, I knocked that narc off the park. And I haven't looked back. I don't worry about calling or anything else on my phone. I know if I see it, I memorize the number deliberately, brother. I took it out my contacts, but if I see it show up, I'm not going to give a dialogue to a narc. He's just not greater than God to me. He just isn't. Right. And in that, there's peace. So I'm just saying, for all those suffering, Ben, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but you have to be persistent in staying in that light.
Absolutely.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes. So peace unto you. Thank your mother and give her my express regards for her prayers. I ask you all for continued prayers for this as far as my health.
Well, thanks for jumping on. I appreciate it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'll be looking forward to you all. I love the platform. I love your graphics, everything. I mean, it's just going up for you. I can see it. You just know. I don't know why I know. And I don't answer those questions, but I see it all for all of you all doing the panel. This is critical work because as we go forward in bad times and changing times, which are pretty derogatory now, this is going to be needed to explain why these people are predatory on others, just trying to survive.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate you coming on. I really do. Thanks so much. It's good to see you.
Love you guys. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend.
All right. Take care. Thank you. Appreciate it. No, I mean, it's very true. There's a lot of stuff that people don't understand about narcissism, and people don't understand what's actually going on with it. You know, that's why a big aspect, that's one of the first things that I talk about is awareness, growth, healing, and change. Like letting people understand what's actually happening, what's actually going on is essential. Like if you don't know what's actually going on, there's no way to be able to identify. That's why we talk about getting to the truth, because the truth is what's going to set you free. The truth is what's going to help you understand, determine from the fakeness, from the fantasy that you've been in, to actually understanding the reality of what's going on. Okay. So super excited. If you guys didn't get a chance to be able to see, we dropped just the other day our new journal. So from fantasy to reality. So brand new journal that just came out. You can get it on Amazon. I'll drop the Amazon link in here. If you guys want to be able to see it, check it out. We've had several people that have been able to get it. It says it's been really helpful. There's a couple people in the chat that said it was helpful, but it's also like annoying a little bit too, because it makes you think. And I mean, that's the goal. But we want to be able to provide something that wasn't just a blank sheet of paper, but some ideas of, hey, let's start questioning. Let's start looking at the stuff that we've experienced. Because if you don't ground yourself in that truth, in the reality of the situation, then a lot of times you start remembering just the good moments and you ignore all the bad moments that are 10 times as many. But it's easier to latch onto those good moments and not the trauma that actually happened. That's when we minimize it. That's when we push it down. That's when we stop thinking about it. Okay. If you guys want to talk one-on-one, if you want to interact, you can go to my website, rawmotivations.com. We had Vicky that I talked to just right before we got on. Had a great time catching up, but also just trying to help like with the mindset of where we're going, what we're doing. Was able to talk to Jazzy just the other day. So absolutely love being able to talk and try to be able to help people establish clarity in the midst of the confusion, in the midst of the crazy making, everything that's going on. So if you want to talk sometime, go to rawmotivations.com. If you haven't had a chance to be able to download the NARC app and be able to see what's going on there, go to the narcapp.com. Gives you a lot of details and information of what's actually going on, what's all in there. If you're in Virginia Beach, Virginia, coming up September 24th, Narcissistic Abuse Workshop. That's coming to with myself and Lee Hammock, Mental Healness 4-hour event. And then if you're into Texas, or if you just want to drive, we had a bunch of people drive to the North Carolina one. This one has a lot more stuff going on than just the meet and greet. So you can go onto the website, you can sign up for a one-on-one with myself and with 6 other creators that are going to be there, and also a private Q&A where we're doing a panel. It's not going to be broadcasted or anything, so like it's going to be exclusive. There's I think like if you go on the website, I think it says there's like 26 spots left right now. So feel free to be able to go on, be able to log on to narcavengers.com, be able to check that out there. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate everybody for being here, everybody for sharing. It's very courageous a lot of times for people to come on screen, be able to share your story, because it is definitely crazy. It's definitely hard for you to be able to process, be able to go through. It's another thing to be able to put it out there and be able to testify to other people of like, hey, this is where I am. This is how I'm healing. This is how I'm growing. This is how I'm changing. Hope you all have a blessed day, and we'll see you all next week on Monday. Take care.